Again, we had to go through the mirror matchups to get to the juicy ZvT at the end of the group, at the end of the tunnel. It's beautiful. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Onside. It is Solar. Here we go. Again, we've already seen Cure in this matchup before, looking damn strong earlier. Was able to take down DRG 2-0 in a pretty fast series, to be honest. I highly recommend checking out the VODs. Cure was looking impressive against Dongray Gu earlier. But let's see how he performs against Solar. Solar also fell to Gumiho, winding it back earlier today. Gumiho did take down Solar, but Gumiho was also just a really unorthodox player. We saw some really strange builds out of him, and he was just catching Solar off guard and overpowering, overwhelming him. So I'm sure Solar is happy to see Cure here instead of Gumiho, because this is going to be a much more standard ZvT as opposed to the crazy, insane play that we saw earlier. As Cure is going for a low ground 2 racks. You see a 2 racks opener here from Cure. Should be getting into Reapers. Again, Cure has been quite fond of this, and we have seen Cure go for the Cyclone variation earlier today. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again here. What I refer to is that once we transition out of this, we should be seeing a reactor on this racks, a reactor in Tech Lab, and Cure is very fond of actually using the reactor to go for an add-on swap and crank out Cyclones and Hellions instead of going into more Marine production. Cure did it earlier, we'll see if he does it here. Again, it's something that is very unique to Cure, as he's just very fond of that variation, whereas Gumiho, Maru, Byun, less so. But now, Reapers are on the way. Again, the goal of these Reapers are to contain Solar to these 2 bases. He is going to sneak out a drone towards that linear third. Going to try and sneak that out. And we'll see if he can keep the attention of Cure here at the natural. Reaper does arrive, going to be shelling away at those drones. So far, so good. Solar, he does pull back in time, preserving his lings and his drones. The dance has begun. Cure is going to rotate around. The drone still hidden, by the way. Cure is checking for a third base. He sees the lack of third at the linear and triangular location. He's looking even further. And he does come across the drone. Oh! The drone cannot morph into the gas, and the drone will go down. And Cure, he is successfully containing Solar to 2 bases. That is the goal, and he has achieved it. Behind this, 3rd CC. It is going to be a 3. Oh my god, that is a 3rd CC before factory even. Very greedy here from Cure. Usually it's 3cc before starport, but again, even before the factory, very greedy follow-up here from the Terran. Getting further ahead in the economy and containing Solar here. Ling speed is about to kick in. But against 4 Reapers, you can see once again the 3rd being delayed. The Queens, they are off of creep. Ling speed is about to kick in, and Solar can then chase this away. And Cure is aware of that. He's aware that Ling speed should be finishing up soon, so he gets the hell out of there. He backs up. And Solar can finally expand, but this is a very late 3rd from our Zerg player. Back at home, we're not going for the add-on swap. We have Stim, Marines on the way. I'm pretty sure a big reason for this is because of the faster CC. Again, very greedy play here from Cure. And he's not being punished. There is no punish for this. As Solar, he's just droning as much as he can. I wouldn't be opposed to Solar taking a faster 4th as well, just because of how late this 3rd is. But we'll see. We'll see how he approaches this. Lings are going for a big counterattack. Oh yeah, there's the add-on swap. Yeah, this is what I was referring to earlier. Cure, he's very fond of this variation of 3cc 2-on-1, where he goes for the add-on swap and goes for Cyclones and then Hellions after this as well. This is just a way to gain map control, to shut down Overlords, and to even pose a threat to Queens once we move out on the map. Again, this is like the Cure 3cc 2-on-1. He likes it, man. He likes it. As he is going to be pushing out. Additional Hellions are on the way. We see Solar just trying to get ready back at home. Does spot the move out with this Overlord in the center of the map. On that Overlord pillar. And I'm getting a bit of deja vu. Cure, he did the same thing against DRG on this very map. Like, it's uncanny. If you remember, DRG, he was able to get a surround on this army as he came in from behind with these Lings. We can see Solar attempted the same. Going for a counterattack instead, trying to catch some reinforcements. Cure is pushing. There are plenty of queens in position. We're up to 8 queens. We are up to 8 queens. Cure, he doesn't commit. He doesn't want to throw this away. Stim is done. But you can see Cure just flirting with the creep. Not committing. He's not about that life. He's just calming things down. But here comes the next push. This is where we commit. Medevacs are on the way to sustain this Marine army. To sustain multiple stims. Third base is being taken on location. It has landed. Meanwhile, Solar's getting ready for this. He has delayed his Evo chamber. He has delayed his Baneling Nest and his lair in favor of double Evo chamber. Solar is going for an upgrade heavy composition. He's looking to defend with only Lings and Queens. No Banelings. At the same time, Solar going for a run by. He does catch some SCVs. At the same time, Cure pushing forward. SCVs, they will go down. Forcing the third base to lift. A good run by here from Solar. He's racing back home. Cure, he doesn't gain any ground. Shaves off an Overlord. Gets a Ling, but not much else. As again, Cure has just been so careful about pushing too far into creep. But has he been too careful? I do think there was an opportunity earlier to maybe dive in and get on top of the queens. Instead, Cure, he rotates around and he will come across the fourth base. Yeah, we do have the stim, but Solar's looking to collapse on this army. Yeah, he's looking for the surround. It doesn't quite go for it. Does pull back. Back at home, Cure is getting his third base back up and running. He is getting it saturated. Banelings are out. 1-1 is about to kick in. We go for the surround. Solar, he comes in from behind. We'll collapse on this army. We save some Marines, but we lose everything else. A big moment for Solar. He doesn't just clean up the army, he protects this fourth base. It's still up and running. But Cure, he is quick to reinforce. Solar backs off. He thinks that the aggression is over, but it's only just begun. It's Cure. He's reinforcing with tanks. He kept most of his Marines alive. And the positioning here is brutal. He has the high ground. Shelling away at this army. Banelings are going down. 1-1 is about to kick in for the Terran. At the same time, Solar getting ready for another surround. He has Lings waiting behind the army. He's going for it. He's going for the collapse. Good target firing on the Banelings. Oh my god, the Banelings are getting annihilated. But they break through. They get on top of the tanks. At the same time, the Marines, they stim on top of the Queens. But it looks like there is too much Zerg. It looks like Solar will defend. Did lose 2 Queens, but cleaned up the tanks. And once again, he saves the fourth base. And now he can spread creep. Behind this, oh my god, Cure, he's not slowing down. Cure is up to 7 Araxes back at home, 8 Rax on the way. This is a 3-base all-in from Cure. No gases here at the third base. Workers are going down as well. Cure, he is committed. It's all or nothing for Cure. We gotta go. Again, Cure is only on 1 factory, hasn't taken his gases, gone up to 8 Raxes. This is a 3-base all-in. It's all or nothing. And Solar, he just needs to survive. Easier said than done. The hatchery taking a lot of hits. His save is transfused once again. Good target firing on the Banelings, but the tanks will go down for a second time. Big connections here on top of the ramp. The tank! We do get it. Solar, he's barely surviving. We have a hive on the way. 2-2 is about to kick in. The creep here is lacking. Solar, he's desperately been trying to spread that creep. As behind this Cure, still no 4th CC, still no gases. We're still all in. Solar, I don't think he's really pieces together. He has to be careful. Does take some tank shots to the face. Cure going to be rotating around, going for a double drop into the main base. A push towards the 5th. And the drop comes in. Solar, he's out of position. He is out of position. Does pull away with those workers. At the same time, Cure, he's moving towards that fresh hatchery. And Solar's waiting for him. A good cleanup here from Solar. He does deflect the double drop, but he goes into the 4th. Once again, Solar not where he needs to be. Drones go down. The hatchery is exposed. And we do get the 4th. Hatchery goes down. Good pickup here from Cure. And he's not slowing down. Again, completely all in. The aggression should not stop for Cure. He needs to keep going until he breaks Solar. And he almost has. Solar with very limited creep spread. Very limited vision, and Cure, he's getting a bit out of control here. The tanks, the libs are all sieging up. And Solar, he gives up on his new 4th base. He's down to 3 bases. Drones are going down. Solar, he's bleeding out too much. He's trying to retake control of this southern base, going for a big link counterattack at the same time, going for the mineral line. And he will get SCVs. At the same time, the Banelings! At the same time, the Banelings, they do push forward. Decent connections. Decent connections on the Marines. Back at home, 8 SCVs go down. Solar, he's catching reinforcements. Does catch a good chunk of Marines, forcing Cure to back off. Solar causing some chaos, but Cure, he's still up in army supply heavily. The double drop comes back in. Solar trying to keep up. We have an Ultra Cavern done. Oh my god, that's wild. Trying to defend with Lingbane into Ultras. Vipers are on the way as well. Can Solar hold on? Again, he's still down in army supply. The Vipers, they will help dealing with the medevacs with parasitic bombs. They can also blinding cloud the tanks. Solar, he can take a fight. Unfortunately, just very limited creep spread. A very limited way to engage. And here we go. Solar, he's pulling the trigger. He does go for some yoinks. A couple of tanks are going to be going down. Not a bad trade for Solar. But there are just so many Marines behind this. And there's no answer for the libs. Yeah, we need to yoink them forward. One lib goes down, but more have arrived. Ultras are on the way, but against this kind of army, I'm not convinced. Against lib tank? Ay, ay, ay. Solo going for another run by, but he is just being forced further and further back into his 3rd base. He's going to try to break free. Yoinks more of these tanks and libs, but there are just too many Marines. We have the man with gun. The Marine army just stims on forward. A good spread here against the Banelings. Ultras, they try to close the distance, but they're kited into liberation zones. The freedom has arrived. And there's just too much freedom. Oh, we do take a Baneling to the face. We come in for a surround. The Ultras, they're getting on top of the Marines. They will clean this up. Cure, the only thing left standing are these Liberators. The libs, they survive. We still have freedom. That's all that matters. Solo going for a counterattack, trying to catch some reinforcements. And has Cure lost too much? 3rd base is exposed. SCVs are going down. And Cure, again, he only really has libs. Liberation is not enough. Not like this. Power bombs will connect. 12 SCVs go down. Solar, he was at death's door. He was losing the 4th base, the 5th base over and over again. But GG gets called. He survives. And Solar takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. GG. Well played, Solar. He does make it out. Does take game 1. Oh my god. Again, that was an intense 8 racks out of Cure. He was completely all in on 3 bases, and there were times where he maybe overextended and would lose tanks over and over again, at least initially. But over time, he was pulling Solar apart. He was killing workers, killing bases, crippling the production of Solar. Solar was having such a hard time keeping up, and we saw Solar invest so heavily into these Ling run-bys, these Ling counterattacks, and very rarely did they ever do too much damage. It was towards the end where they were paying off, but Up until then, Cure was able to keep up, was able to minimize his losses, get into his Liberators, get into his tanks. That was a really close defense, to be honest. That was a very close defense there from Solar. I feel like the MVPs were the Vipers. With those Vipers, he was able to pick off a good chunk of tanks, maybe 4 or 5 tanks, a couple of Liberators as well, make it that much easier to deal with the army. He's able to eventually barely break out. And with that, Solar takes a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. Game número 2. And again, there was no recovering, there was no transition there from Cure, there was no 4th base. There was nothing else on the table. It was all or nothing. And now we're getting into that second game. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of our Kione, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid down in this series, looking to tie it up, looking to force the ace match. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Onside, leading the series 1-0. It is Solar. Here we go. As Cure once again is going to be going for that low ground 2 racks, which did well for Cure. Winding it back here at the start of game 1, Cure was able to successfully contain Solar to 2 bases for quite some time. Was able to force a cancel on, get a kill in the first drone and even get a kill in the second drone as well. We'll see if we can replicate that. As for now, Solar, he's going for a hatch gas pool opener. Going for a hatch gas pool standard opener here out of Solar, something more aggressive here out of Cure. Now what's important is that there are different variations off of this 2 racks. 2 racks Reaper can lead into 3 racks Reaper, it can lead into 3cc 2-on-1, can lead into a 4 racks or even a 3 racks, a different variation of 3 racks. But I mean, that's what I would say if we were casting Bjorn. Bjorn, he's so diverse with his opener, he's so diverse with his play. Cure, a little bit less so. I expect to see, once again, a 3cc variation, an economic variation from Cure here throughout this series. Cure, he's a little bit more one-note in ZvT compared to some of these other players. I mean, I say one-note when it comes to his openers. Of course, last game, we saw some hyper-aggression out of Cure, which I wasn't really expecting from him. But again, showing us he's willing to really mix things up and be aggressive when he needs to be. But now, we're expanding, and we are getting those Reapers out. Cure going to be threatening that mineral line, dipping towards the natural. Again, just dancing with these lings shouldn't kill anything here. The drones so far have survived. Oh, I spoke too soon as one drone goes down. Big pick off there from Cure. So far, so good. Also, just going to be fanning out his Reapers, even checking the edges of these bases, making sure that there is no third on the way, that Solar is contained to 2 bases. Again, this is the goal of this opener, to contain the Zerg, to delay the third. And so far, Cure, he's doing well. Doing well for himself. Behind this, he's transitioning. We have the Tech Lab and the Reactor on the way. Behind this, that is once again a 3rd CC before Factory. The same exact opener, the same build that Cure went for in game number 1. He wants the drone! He dives in and he will get a kill on the drone, once again delaying the 3rd base of Solar. Ay, ay, ay. And just like the last game, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an add-on swap. As I say that, would you have the Reactor a little bit further out? So not too sure if we're going to go for an add-on swap into Cyclones again. It is something that Cure does enjoy, and he did it in the previous game, but here in game 2, we'll see if he does the same, or if he focuses on marine production instead. As Solar, he finally takes control of his 3rd. Finally gets it up and running, or soon to be up and running. Behind this, we're just going to be droning, focusing on our saturation, getting our gas back up and running as well. And, oh, once again, yeah. I thought it was going to be risky, but He does go for the add-on swap, is going for Cyclones and then Hellions soon after as well. Again, the same opener 2 games in a row. Now, just because so far it's all been the same as game 1, doesn't mean that Cure is going to go into a 3-base all-in. Not at all. Alcyone is designed for longer macro play. Your 3rd base and even 4-base setups are very well defended. We have the high ground here at the 3rd. We have a choke point leading into the 4th. They're all quite tight-knit and close together. Cure should be looking to go for a longer macro game, which is what we saw from Gumiho earlier today. And this map lends to mid-game and even late-game play, and I'm sure Cure is looking to take advantage of that. Behind this, we do see Solar going for a safe opener. If you remember in the last game, Solar, he went for a faster double Evo chamber into 1-1. Here, he delays his Evo chambers, and he's going for a faster lair into a safety Baneling Nest. So very safe play here from Solar. Not cutting any corners, not rushing into upgrades like he did previously, despite going up against the same build. It goes to show that Solar, he's ahead in this series and he wants to just make sure he's safe and secure. Doesn't want to die to anything crazy. As now we're getting to the Evo chambers. Cure going to be pushing up the ramp. He's going to try to pick off a queen. Doesn't quite get them. Good transfuse. Solar, he does keep his queens alive. Lair is done. We should be seeing Baneling speed. There we go. Is now on the way. Again, Solar prioritizing Baneling speed over the upgrades. Gonna try and hold on. Does confirm the 3rd TC has been landed. And Cure is pushing. Stim is done, by the way. He's reinforcing with those medevacs. Pushing towards the bases of Solar. Banelings, they have finished morphing in. 3rd base still on the 3rd. I think 1 SCV went down. Yep. The lane did get 1 SCV and more links have arrived. Take control of the 3rd. We clean up the Marines. Let me get the hell out of there. And not a bad trade from Solar. Cure going to rotate around towards the would-be 4th base. Hatchery still on the way, but the Queens do keep up. Solar, he does rotate in time. And he comes back in. Oh, we can go for the mule. Doesn't quite dive. Here he is now establishing his 3rd base. Has a safety tank on the high ground, getting into the rest of these Raxes. And Cure actually outpositions Solar a little bit. Solar expecting an attack from the left-hand side. Oh, but he does split up his army. There's Lings on the left, Banelings on the right. And we are getting into a very fast infestation pit. Okay. With that, we can get into fast Adrenal and get into Vipers as well. So we're taking up quite quickly here is Solar. Could even rush into Ultras, which I'm not too fond of, but it's on the table. Especially with those melee upgrades. Curious to see what kind of direction Solar does take us in. Behind this, we have more reinforcements on the way. There it is, we're rushing into that hive. Cure doubling down on the aggression here. Gonna be rucking up with those tanks. Well, they have been spotted. Tanks are getting in position. Solar getting ready for a big counterattack. Oh, and it looks like Solar, he may just have to give up on this base. Yeah, across the map, he does get into the mineral line. Hatchery is going to be going down. At the same time, Banelings, they do crash into the Marines. Oh my god. A big chunk of Marines go down. SCVs are falling as well, but at the same time, Solar, he holds onto his Hatchery. Oh, barely. He's barely holding on. He's going to chase this down. He collapses on the tanks. And he will clean this up. The tanks as well as the Bio Army. Oh, we do have some more Marines left over. But Solar, he has enough left over as well, and yeah, he was able to deal a blow to the economy of Cure and also clean up the army, holds on to his 4th, and now takes a 5th. But the creep is lacking. Creep is lacking here. Cure moving out with another drop. This space is looking a little bit exposed. Solar, he does have enough to keep up with the army of Cure, and Cure is doing a great job at distracting him. But Solar, he's not in position. The Marines, they dive into the mineral line. Drones are going to go down. 5, 6 workers. That's a good amount of counter damage here from Cure. He is able to keep Solar on the back foot. Cure keeping himself in this. As the drop is going to keep Solar pinned back. Meanwhile, it looks like it is going to be Viper's Adrenal Glands, and the Ultra Cavern is on the way once again. 2 games in a row for Solar. And it makes sense just because of like the melee upgrades that we're working towards. Solar did try to make Lurkers work earlier today, didn't with mixed success. I say Lurkers work. Really, he was going Lingbane Hydra in that late game against Gumiho. Wasn't able to pull it off in the end. And we have a very different dynamic here. It was Gumiho who was against Solar, just turtling back at home and walling up on 4 bases. Here, Cure is just hyper aggressive. He's just in the face of Solar. And this hatchery is going to go down. Solar, he's not in position to deal with this. The 5th base will fall. Meanwhile, we have reinforcements on the way. Solar going for another counterattack. He wants to try to deal some kind of counter damage, but Curie's in position. He has a bunker, he has tanks, he has reinforcements. We'll see if Solar can get into the mineral line. Oh, he does run into the tank. He doesn't care. He's going for it. He does dive on top of the tank. 1 Baneling gets in, but 1 Baneling is not enough, and Cure will hold, only losing 2 SCVs. And now he can focus on his push. He does get on top of the goal base. It's going to be a cancel. The drones! No! The drones have to get the hell out of there. The mines have arrived. Oh. Not the best connections here, but Cure does at least deny that goal base, containing Solar to 4 bases. Going for a drop into the main. He gets eyes on the Ultra Cavern. He's aware. Should be working towards Ghosts. And the drop play continues. Solar having a really hard time keeping up. Marines all over the natural, in the main base as well. Solar, he is going to be able to respond, but the hatchery is going to go down. No! It's going to be a kill on the natural base at the same time. Was that a kill on the 3rd? Sorry, a kill on the gold? Yeah, it was at least a cancel. Was another cancel on that hatchery, and Cure, he's just pulling Solar apart. He's all over him. Lings are trying to clean up whatever they can. The tank, oh my god, is in such an awkward position. Will eventually go down. But Solar, he's just being pulled apart. He's down in workers, he's up in workers, but down in bases. Down in army, the Ultra! The Ultra will fall as well, and Curie snowballing out of control. Again, this army cannot be dealt with. Solar doesn't have enough, not anymore. And now Cure's working on the 4th base. GG gets called. Cure ties up the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. GG. GG, well played. Cure having a very different approach here compared to Gumiho. Again, it shows how different these players are, where in the last series, Gumiho, he was just turtling, he was walling up on 4 or 5 bases. He just gave Solar the map essentially. Gave him so much map control, and Solar, he was able to be the aggressor instead. Here, Cure was just constantly in the face of Solar. At times, was struggling. At times, he was losing a little bit too much. But because his defenses back at home were so solid, he could get away with it. He could just be in the face of Solar constantly. There were a couple of times there where Solar was trying to go for these run-bys, trying to go for these counterattacks, but yeah, this time Cure, he was able to keep up with it. I mean, very similar to game 1. It was the same story. Towards the end of game 1, Solar was getting damage done, but here, Cure was that much more solid, and he is going to force game 3. The final game of this series, the final game of the night, because it all ends here. One player advances on, the other is eliminated from GSL. Let's go. It all ends on Solaris. And again, Cure just taking advantage of the fact that Solar had very limited anti-air as well. There was no Spire, there was no Hydrogen. The drop play of our Terran player just got out of control. Oh, it was insane. It was beautiful. And here we go, we're getting into the ace match. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Solaris, we have the South Korean Terran player representing his new team, Team Liquid. It is Kyo. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Team Onside, being forced into the ace match. It is Solar. I think the other thing to bear in mind as well is that last game, Cure, he wasn't 8-raxing. Like, he wasn't going for an 8-rax all-in like we saw in game 1. Cure, he was just being hyper-aggressive, yes, but he was also expanding behind it. He was transitioning, working on that next step. And instead of going for these big frontal assaults, which is what 8-rax is lend towards, instead we just had constant drop play out of Cure. And yeah, just a really good way to take advantage of a player that is rushing into ultras. You know, rushing into hive tech into ultras, who's avoiding anti-air, who's avoiding the Spire and the Hydra Den. Really well done there by Cure. And oh my god, for the first time this entire series, Cure is going for a Rax on the high ground, not going for a 2-Rax opener. Oh my god. So a very different Cure we're seeing this time. I'm curious. I mean, I'm sure a big part of this is just because of how wide open this natural base is. Maybe a little bit less willing to put it all on the line when it comes to a wall off, and maybe anticipating more aggression from Solar. But for now, it is going to be a Rax expand. Likewise, Solar going for a hatch gas pool, and I'm sure Solar is going to be is going to be elated, going to be so happy, recognizing the opener and being like, oh, I can take a third. This entire series, Solar has been taking late third bases over and over again because of the aggression of Cure. Finally, only a single Reaper. Finally, Solar, he can expand freely. It's beautiful. Solar, he can expand freely. He can drone. It's crazy. As the Reaper arrives, going to be dancing with these Lings. And in the midst of this aggression, Solar should be expanding and taking the third. And there it is. The third is now on the way. On time, on location. For the first time this series, not delayed. Behind this Cure, he's going for a 3cc opener, 3cc before starport. Very economic. Once again here from Cure. Tumor has been thrown down, is going to be saved. This Cure is forced out. And yeah, there we go. We do have that starport on the way. Should be a 3cc Banshee variation, but we'll see if we have a Tech Lab and an add-on top before us, or if we go for a very different follow-up. I'm curious as Cure, he does get eyes on the third hatchery. Ling's going to be bypassing that Reaper, going straight for the mineral line. But the Hellions, they pop out just in time, and we shouldn't get too much done here. Ling speed kicks in. Oh! We try to get a surround, but the Lings, they are forced back. Good control here out of Cure. Handling these Lings quite nicely. Behind this, we do have the add-on swap. Was a Tech Lab on the Rax, add-on swap into Banshee production. Banshees are on the way. We don't necessarily have to commit to Cloak. Banshees on their own, they can do quite well for themselves. Getting economic damage done and really securing our position. We'll see if Cure does commit, and he does. Oh, let's go. He is going to be committing here into Cloak Banshees. The other added advantage of this Banshee follow-up is that it does help shut down Roach play, in case Solar did go for a Roach Warren, which he did do against Gumiho. Cure would be ready for that. And would be able to shut it down. For now though, Solar, he's just, again, enjoying his third base, droning happily, moving his queens forward. We're even looking to catch some of these Hellions. Oh. Doesn't quite get them. They do slip away, just barely. And again, both players are just settling into the mid-game at this point. Not too much early game aggression, just, you know, some poking, some prodding, a bit of a dance between the Reapers and the Hellions with the Lings. Outside of that, Curie's going to be following this up with bio play, not mech, thankfully. It's going to be that bio transition, 2 more Raxes on the way, Stim, third base soon to be taken. And with the arrival of this second Banshee with Cloak finishing, the Banshee should be moving out here for Cure. Overlord tries to get some scouting information. We do have spores in position. They were set up for liberators, but yeah, they're repositioning here for banshees instead. We have one spore in each mineral line, and plenty of queens as well. But here we go. The banshees are making their way towards the third base. 2 banshees do one-shot workers, so we should be able to get some damage done. And with good enough control, we shouldn't lose the banshees either, as 3 workers will go down. Oh, gonna get a 4th and a 5th drone. Oh my god. We get up to 6 workers here at the 3rd. Not too bad. The banshees will survive. They can race back home and even repair. As I say that, oh my god, we do dive on the banshee. 1 goes down. Running out of energy at the wrong time. Good moves there out of Solar. I mean, it was brutal to lose 6 workers, but at least he gets a banshee. At least he does get that. As Cure is going to be rotating around. Threatening a dive. Again, really these Hellions are only designed to grant map control, as they do clean up some of these creep tumors, keeping Solar in check, keeping the creep at bay, as Cure saturates his 3rd. And he gets into his 5 rack setup. Again, 5 Raxes, 1-1, 2nd factory's on the way. We're taking our gases. Again, this is our sign. 2 gases, 2nd factory. We're not 8 raxing. We're not going for a 3-base all-in. Cure is going to be working towards a 4th CC momentarily. Cure is going for a more macro-oriented build. And he is going to be working on his push. Again, we've reached the 7-minute mark. Medevac should be on the way. There we go. They are going to be ferrying the 2nd tank over. And Cure is looking to apply some pressure here to this hatchery. Ideally getting a kill, but we'll see if he can go that far, as he does clean up a good chunk of this creep. Tanks are sieging. A really nice position here. Hellbats do morph into... Sorry, Hellions do morph into those Hellbats. Armory is done. And the goal here is for the Hellbats to protect these tanks from a Lynx around. A very Cure move. The hatchery taking a lot of hits. Spore Crawler goes down. You can see Solar getting ready for a surround. Bailing speed is about to kick in. Lynx coming from behind as well. Sure, we may have Hellbats, but there's so many Bailings. And we collapse on this army. The Hellbats, they do what they can, but the tanks will go down. A good cleanup here from Solar. We have a double jump into the main base, but there are Lynx in position. Reinforcements are on the way. The Medevac's taking a lot of hits. Oh, 1 full Medevac goes down. Brutal loss there from Cure. At the same time, he has the double drop on the right-hand side. He is going to get on top of this hatchery at least. He does force a cancel. He does deal with the 5th, but still not worth losing a full Medevac. And from here, Solar, he can even try to double expand. This 5th base is going to be difficult to hold on to, but this time Solar, he's in position. Cure going for another double drop, working towards drilling claws. There's a 4th CC on the way, and Solar, he's also taking up even further. This time not into ultras. He's aware of, he needs some anti-air this time, and we have Hydras on the way, and a Lurker Cavern as well. Lurker Den. I was thinking of the Ultra Cavern. Lurker Den is on the way alongside the Hive. Cure pushing towards the north. Has a minefield here with him this time. Good bait. Only 1 link goes down. We have 2 more Widow Mines. Some better connections, but still Solar will clean this up without losing too much. The mines go down. Cure coming in from the south once again, but this time we have an army in position. Solar is here. And this is getting scary. And Cure, he's been investing a lot here into this drop play, and he's been clearing up creep. He's been trading with the army, but he hasn't been killing workers. He hasn't been touching the economy. Solar, he's up to 87 workers at this point. He's looking to snowball out of control. He's done droning. He's now focused on maxing out here up to 200 supply of Ling Bane Hydra. Hydra's speed still on the way, and the creep is a little bit lacking here towards the north at least. Better towards the south. The queens! 2 queens go down. decent mine shots as well. But Cure is being cleaned up. Every single one of these fights, his mine count is reset time and time again. And now we have Vipers on the way. Vipers alongside the Hydras, Lurker upgrades as well. The Sick is going to be cancelled. But again, that's the 6th base. And Cure is just getting his 4th up and running. Both players are maxed out. The Medivacs! No! One Medivac's going to be going down. Oh, never mind. They all survive. They all get out of there. Here, continuing with this drop play, continuing with these split pushes. But Solar, he has enough. As long as he avoids the mines, he should be okay. Ooh, a much better Widow Mine shot. But this entire time, Solar has been building up his upgrades for those Lurkers. Adaptive Talons is on the way. Groove Spines is already done. Lurker Range is already done. And this time we have Vipers. This time we can shut down these Medivacs. They have to boost away. At the same time, Cure taking a better trade towards the south. He is gaining ground. Doom Drop going towards the main as well, which is going to be spotted by this Overlord. So he sees, he knows. Does he have enough time to react? As we do drop into the main base, the tech is exposed. We can go for the pit, we can go for the Hydra Den. We're going for a bit of everything here. Hydra Den is getting low, but we do clean this up. Yeah, the army is going to go down. At the same time, we send reinforcements towards the 3rd. It looks like that's going to go down. We don't get the tech in the main, but we do get a hatchery. Good moment here for Cure. He does kill a base. He's taking a 5th base behind this. The drop comes back in with a handful of Marines. It is Cure overextending though. Gets a handful of workers. Now going to be focusing on this southern push. Solo, he may have lost the base, but he still has so many more hatcheries that he can saturate. And he's coming in for a surround. And this entire time, this entire game, Solo's been the defender. Like, it's just been Cure harassing, attacking, dropping, and Solo, he hasn't been able to be aggressive until now. Solo, he's finally breaking free, finally counterattacking, and there's not much at home to defend. Cure, his drops are stuck here in the corner of the map. This base is vulnerable. It is compromised. It's going to be broken. Aliens, they crash on in. Good blinding clouds, and this final tank should go down as well. The Ghosts, they have arrived. They're going to be able to hold on, but that's 12 SCVs going down. Solar finally doing some damage to the economy of Cure. And that was only after Solar was able to shut down a lot of these drops. Most of these drops even. Now Solar, he can be the aggressor. As I mentioned before, he's been defending this entire time, he's been droning this entire time. And now that he has good upgrades, now that he has a decent army, he can push out. It's been a slow climb for Solar, but he's here. The mine! Mine going to be connecting. Cure getting caught out on the map, but Ghost goes down. We can't afford these losses. We can't afford losing Ghosts like this. Solar has a ban. Cure doesn't. Tries to go for another drop. Is denied. And Solar, he gets eyes on the 5th base, and he wants it. Bane is going to crash on forward. Planetary does go down. At the same time, Solar going to be harassing this 3rd base as well. SCVs are falling, and Cure is being pulled apart. The shoe on the other foot. Cure, he was enjoying himself when he was the aggressor, when he was dropping. But now that he has to defend, he's been struggling. 11 SCVs go down. Base isn't mining. Drops are moving out. No, past the spore. Hatchery is going to be denied towards the south, and we're going to be able to shell away at these tech structures once again. But the main armies are soon to clash. The mines do burrow. Ooh, big connections on the Bailings. Insane connections. Meanwhile, we get the power bomb. No splits. No. The medevacs. So many of them are going to go down. We split away with the parasitic bomb. Medevacs go down, and Curiosity losing too much here. He is still maxed out, but he doesn't have much of an economy. If he takes another bad trade, he won't be able to rebuild. When this time, the mines will not connect. Yeah, we can chase this down, even off of creep. At the same time, another Lingbane counterattack, getting onto the third base. 11, 12, 15 SCVs go down, and this orbital is not long for this world. Ay. Yeah, it looks like we're snowballing out of control. Cure is the one being pulled apart. That's 18 dead SCVs. Denied mining. Borrowed Lings even. Forcing out a scan. And Solar, he's diving on top of the ghost. Late reaction here from Cure. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The Hydras, they collapse on this position. They get on top of the ghost here as well. At the same time, a Ling run by GG gets called, and it's just too much. Solar will take the series 2-1, taking down Cure and advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Solar will take it in the end. Wasn't the easiest road though. Wasn't the easiest time from Solar. He came in from the elimination match, from losing to Gumiho earlier, and even here he was forced into the ace match, and he was stuck defending back at home, stuck trying to keep up with the drop play of Cure. And he did. He was able to keep up, even shut down some of those medevacs, shut down some of the drops, eventually able to gain map control and be the aggressor himself. GG, well played. Congratulations to Solar as he makes it out second in Group A. Congratulations. And we can actually quickly have a look at the group itself. Just need to update some of the scores. And there we go. As we switch our scenes over, and we can go over all the matches we had tonight. A lot of ZvTs and even some mirror matchups as well. Initially, the Terrans were strong. Initially, Cure had a dominant performance over DRG. Gumiho had a close series against Solar, and both did advance on. Gumiho making out first in a wild TVT as well. Very chaotic, very dynamic gameplay. I feel like the highlight of the night was the TVT on Oceanborn. If you missed out on it, I highly recommend checking it out. A game where Gumiho went for proxy BCs, and the game didn't end there. It kept going into the mid game, into a late game scenario with Gumiho up to what, 5-6 CCs, and he almost died. He almost died then and there. Cure was able to almost completely shut him down. And then those BCs from the early game, the battle cruisers, they came in clutch, and they were the MVPs of that entire series. That was amazing. Gumiho came out first, well deserved. And then we went down to the elimination matches, where Solo was able to claw his way back out of Group A, coming out second. GG, well played. Again, really good matches, really solid series overall. And even the Cure versus DRG series, the only one that wasn't a best of 3, like even that was a solid series as well, just able to really showcase what Cure is made of and how dominant he can be, how impressive he can look. Unfortunately, didn't make it out of the group. You know, it is a tournament at the end of the day. There are winners, there are losers, and some players do have to bow out. Honestly, coming into the season of GSL, my eye was on Cure. I was expecting really good things out of Cure, and hey, he made it into the top 8, into the round of 8, but again, he does meet his end here. I do still have my eye on him leading into DreamHack Atlanta. DreamHack Atlanta is on the horizon alongside Home Story Cup and some other big events. And Cure has been looking damn good. Like even here in this group, he barely didn't make it out. So I look forward to seeing more of him. Look forward to it. Likewise, Gumiho, of course, with a new team boost, recently joining Cloud9. I'm sure his team are very happy with their pickup, and I'm sure Gumiho has a lot more motivation to improve and to excel at the game. So again, there are a lot of players that are really peaking at the moment, coming into DreamHack Atlanta, which is going to be in a couple of weeks. Keep an eye out for it. make sure you tune in. DreamHack Atlanta is going to be amazing. We may be a part of it as well. For DreamHack Yongshipping, we were a side stream. I think we were the B stream or the C stream, and we were covering the open brackets. We're going to try and do the same for DreamHack Atlanta. We're going to try and at least cover the open brackets, and maybe more than that, depending on if we manage to be the B stream or a different side stream instead. We'll do our best. We'll do our best. We'll be a part of it. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. An amazing day of StarCraft here. We're going to be casting Group B next week. Next week is going to be Group B of the round of 8. Initially, we were going to cast Group B on Thursday, but we have something else on Thursday. If you've been on Twitter, if you've been on social media, you know there's a show match. On Thursday, there is a show match between Miyamaika and Hon Mono. It's going to be a battle of the sea, the battle of Southeast Asia. We've got Hon Mono on one side for Japan. We have Miyamaika for Vietnam on the other side. And it's going to be a best of 19. What have I agreed to? What have what have I done, Papi? What have I done? A best of 19 between Hon Mono and Miyamaika. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Again, look forward to that. That's gonna be on Thursday. If you're wondering, best of 19, what? Are you just gonna reuse maps? Like, what's happening there? No. Unique maps. 19 game, a max of 19 games. Unique maps here for our players. We're delving into the map pool, going for some older maps, going for some previously unused maps as well. It's gonna be wild, and look forward to it. I'm gonna need a co-caster. I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out to Yaku, to Asher, and hopefully I can get someone to join me, because I'm gonna need someone. I'm pretty sure my brain is gonna melt not even halfway through that ZvT. It's gonna be awful and amazing at the same time. I'm gonna need some help. So look forward to it. Look forward to it. It's gonna be on Thursday. Meanwhile, our next broadcast is going to be tomorrow. Again, if you're tuning in for the first time, if you're unfamiliar with the CranKy Ducklings, we're live every day, every single day, and tomorrow, or at least once a day. This is our second broadcast. We casted ESL Open Cup Americas earlier this morning, so plenty of StarCraft. Tomorrow, we're going to be live with the Kung Fu Cup in 22 hours. In 22 hours time, we're going to be live here on this channel with some KFC action. What kind of KFC? The best kind, the Kung Fu Cup kind. Kung Fu Cup, if you don't know, is a weekly tournament that features the best of the best from Korea, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. They all come together for Kung Fu Cup because it's got a hefty prize pool, a big prize pool, so it brings together players like Clem, MaxPax, Raynor, Serral, Dark, Hero, Bjorn, Kior, Gumiho, the best of the best. Estrella, Trigger at times. It's a rough time for Trigger because it's really early in the morning in the Americas, but every now and then he shows up as well. So yeah, Kung Fu Cup, 22 hours time. Be there. Be there tomorrow. As yeah, with that, we are gonna be done for tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It was an amazing day of StarCraft. 4 hours. Not bad. Not bad here to cover a group of GSL. And oh, yeah, I hope everyone in the chat has been doing well. Catching up. And yeah, with that, we're going to be done. If you want to follow us, you can support us elsewhere. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. All the social medias are all there. If you enjoyed the cast and if you want more CranKy Ducklings and maybe you can't tune in live, !YouTube. !YouTube in the chat. We'll give you a link to our YouTube channel. We do upload on a daily basis. Because we upload one tournament a day and because we cast more than one tournament a day, our YouTube uploads are a little bit behind. They're behind 3 months. They're behind 3 months. I'm trying to catch up. It's brutal. Like, I don't want to spam our subscribers on YouTube, and I don't want to just like pump out non-stop VODs. So I've been going for 2 VODs a day, trying to catch up. We'll see if we ever do. We're doing our best. We're doing our best. So you can follow us on YouTube if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some Kung Fu Cup action. Until then, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your week. Hasta luego. Bye. Hasta luego.